Oh, a sad day. A sad day indeed. It is the 30th of October today. So welcome to Halloween Bonanza. The Halloween Spooky Bonanza that I was doing on the channel. I know I said that I was gonna end on a good scary movie like Final Destination. I did want to end with Final Destination, but my plan went tits up, okay? My plan was wrong. I wanted to end on Final Destination, and I wanted to take a look at all the screams, all the saws, and I did do that. My plan was successful, but I just was incorrect with how many days October had, and how many Scream movies, how many Final Destination movies, and how many Saw movies there actually was in total. So, with my math being that terribly off, I ended with 2 days left to spare. So I was looking around being like, what other horror movies can I watch? And unfortunately, it looks like we're ending on Chucky. And then Chucky's Bride, or Bride of Chucky, tomorrow. So I know it's unfortunate. I know it's not how we expected this to go. But without any further delay, let's take a look at what Google has to say about Child's Play. So, Child's Play is a 1988 horror movie, which is a horror comedy, which is 1 hour and 27 minutes. It has a 6.7 out of 10 on IMDb, a 64% on Rotten Tomatoes, a 4.7 out of 5 on Amazon. You can watch it on Amazon Prime and Sky Store. Karen buys her son Andy a sought-after doll for his birthday, and Andy names it Chucky. Things take a turn for the worse when Andy discovers that Chucky is possibly possessed by the spirit of a serial killer. So how this movie opens is with this old dude running away from the police, running into a shop, running into a toy store, lightning striking the toy store and him bleeding out, so his soul gets transferred into the Chucky doll. This Chucky doll then is purchased and given to this child and talks to him in secret. When no one else is looking, when no one else is around, he is yapping to the child, making him go to the scenes of his crimes, to try and clean up, or try and get the police off his tail. And obviously this doll is a guy, which is really fucking weird now that I think about a kid is sleeping with a grown man, technically a grown man, in his bed. It's weird, it's creepy, it's gross, and the kid is gullible and is like, oh my god, it's my doll. My doll's talking. My doll's alive. My doll loves me, and I'll do whatever I want for my doll. So they go and do weird shit, and then one night the mum finally stops thinking the child is crazy and the child's insane, stops taking him to the doctors and psychiatrists, and is like, holy shit, this doll is actually alive, because the doll tries to kill the child and the doll tries to kill her. So they have a big all-out brawl in the kitchen, and they end up setting him on fire and burning him and killing him, and that's how the movie ends. It is genuinely such a basic premise, and I think this is a good premise for a movie. I think it works really well, because obviously the childhood wonder, the childhood whimsy, the childhood joy isn't going to question why the doll is talking or why the doll is telling you to do things. The doll can easily manipulate the child because it's the child's favorite toy. The child loves this thing. The child thinks it's safe with it. The child puts a lot of trust in his toys, and if the toys start talking, that's one of the child's biggest dreams, biggest hopes, and biggest excitements. Kind of like Ted. We see how Mark Wahlberg interacts with Ted, how excited he is to see that his childhood toy is alive and is talking to him and, can do all this shit. So it's exciting that, his toy's alive. So just with the basic psychology of it, a child, it works, and it's scary because children are easily manipulated and can be easily taken advantage of, and we see that in this movie. And the mother, obviously, having a lot more sense and a lot more, world knowledge, will be like, dolls can't talk, what are you fucking on about? And start to become worried for her child, because obviously Chucky isn't talking when she's around. Again, manipulating the child, making the child feel special, being the only one that can see him talk, and it creates for such a creepy, scary atmosphere because of Chucky preying on this child. It works. It makes for a good movie, but Chucky has some impeccable comedic timing, which does take away from the scariness of it, because he is using comedy and jokes and like a lot of laughs, which makes for less tension and less scary, because obviously you're laughing and having fun watching this. But it all builds up to the climax where the mum actually finds out that Chucky is like a real person, like not actually a doll, and we have them fight. And it is stupid, it is silly, it is goofy, because you wouldn't really expect somebody to fight a doll. Fighting a doll is stupid. You're like a full grown woman having a fucking WWE match with a doll, smashing him through tables, throwing him out a window, getting a knife stabbed into you, burning him in the fireplace. It is genuinely stupid and silly, and yes, it is. But it still has some like creepy aspects to it, because it's a doll and it shouldn't move, it shouldn't talk, and it can get into smaller spaces than what people can. So it can leave your line of sight and stay out of your line of sight for a long time, because it's smaller, it's quieter, it's faster. And that just builds up tension, builds up fear. And again, when I was younger, I was scared of Chucky for a very long time. Any doll like I was scared of because of Annabelle and Chucky. We see the trailers for them on TV. We see the sort of like memes about them, again with a young child with access to the internet, like I was, because the internet was like an early thing back when I was there. You see these scary, horror-y things, which obviously stick with you. And I saw Chucky-related stuff, and it scared me, and I didn't like it, because he was a moving doll that was killing people, and I didn't want any of my dolls to do that, so I got rid of most of the dolls. Kept my action figures, because my action figures wouldn't do that, my action figures are cool. But I got rid of most of the dolls, and it was genuinely creepy and scary. So, you know, Chucky did terrify me for a while, but then again, I did watch The Bride of Chucky and, like, Seed of Chucky a couple of years later, and it's like, yeah, Chucky isn't fucking scary. Chucky is, like, stupid, silly, and goofy. And, again, the puppeteering was brilliant. I am going to be honest, like, the puppeteering was really good for Chucky, and they did really well in designing him to make him look really friendly, but then also really psychopathic and creepy when the guy was in control. Gave that real Jekyll and Hyde view to it. And, again, this doll was fucking huge. I don't know why this doll was, like, this big, but, you know, life-size dolls were apparently a thing back in the day. Don't remember why, but, you know, big ass doll. Big ass doll. He was fucking huge. Comedic timing was, again, what broke the tension the most and made for a pretty shit time. I'm going to be honest, like, the time was, pretty boring, because, like, there was, the tension kept getting broken. The pacing fell off with this movie as well, with, you know, how fast the child was getting to these, like, scenes of the crimes that Chucky had done. And it was just really, really, like, I don't know, for such a short movie, it felt really, really long. And when it feels long, you get bored. You don't want to watch it anymore. And that's how I felt with this movie. It was quite boring, and this was like the birth of Chucky, and this was like an indie project apparently. I didn't realize it was an indie project until like I googled and researched a little bit for this movie. So yeah, this was like a entirely independently funded thing, which I think is quite cool. Like for an independent thing, I think this is really, really unique. But then with the next movies of like Bride of Chucky and Seed of Chucky, they turn him into more of like this jokey, silly, goofy, like more like satire, like take on the horror like scene, and I think that's pretty cool. I think that's pretty interesting, and it works for like the whole Chucky franchise. Like I don't think the Chucky franchise would have survived if they didn't change it into that satire direction. So again, I really do enjoy the first movie. I think it is really cool for what it is, and I think they did a lot of things right. I think they could have done other things better, but it is still a decent watch and a decent movie. And Chucky, he's got himself into a lot of places. He's got himself into Dead by Daylight now. I hope that he does make it into Fortnite as like a back bling. I think that'd be really cool. I think it'd be really funny as well to get like a Chucky skin. I don't know how they'd do that in Fortnite, but again, like in most of my horror videos recently, I have been talking about Fortnite and the skin potential of them
But yeah, if Chucky did make it into Fortnite, I would be interested to see how they would put him in. I would just assume it as a back bling because there isn't really a way unless you make him bigger. Just like scale him up to like human sized, which would be uncanny as shit. But you know, you could make a skin version with like a little doll back bling. I think that would be quite cool. You can get Tiffany in there as well. But you know, I'm interested to see if Fortnite ever do pick up Chucky. Um, but again, I don't have a lot else to say about this movie. It's a very old movie with not a lot to really deep dive into. It's just kind of a silly, goofy horror movie with you know, a doll is the main killer. So I am gonna give it a solid like 6 out of 10. It's not terrible. It's not brilliant. It is kind of mid, but you know, it did sprout a whole franchise and people to fall in love with Chucky as a character. So you can't really blame it. It is a ingenious idea which has become such a moneymaker over like recent years because it does have quite a few new series coming from it with HBO Max and other stuff like that. So other than that, I don't really have anything else to say. So hope you all enjoyed this YouTube video. Let me know what you guys think about Chucky down in the comments below. And tomorrow we're going to be taking a look at Bride of Chucky, which I'm really upset we're ending Halloween on Bride of Chucky, but oh well, what can you do? What can you do? It is what it is. So hope you come back tomorrow to take a look at Bride of Chucky, and I'll see you next Halloween for our next Spooky Bonanza, where we take a look at a lot of other horror movies. Probably take a look at Seed of Chucky, because we took a look at Bride of Chucky this Halloween, so we'll probably finish off the Chucky franchise next Halloween, and I'll see you all then. Alright, bye-bye.